The Economic Development Committee of the Chamber is not active. There are several of our members, including myself, who go to the monthly meetings of the city's Economic Development Committee. That it seemed like we were repeating what we were doing and overlapping. So we've gotten more involved and are paying more attention to what they're doing and participating in those discussions.
Sure, that makes good sense as well. And that's it. I'll say this.
I think that's all the committees. Well, then there's the membership/ambassador committee, which are assigned to at mixers and functions to approach either new members who have just come on, or we certainly have business people that attend our events that aren't members, and so it's to invite potential new members and welcome them and spend some time talking to them about the chamber. And there's several members on the board that doesn't have an official chair. It kind of is a moving target, but they all work hard at doing that.
That sounds great. You know, I think it's tough for a lot of business people to attend meetings. And one of the, and I'd like to know, we might as well go ahead and cover this before we get away from it, and that is what's happening now in the next few weeks, activities that the Chamber's in.
Okay. And I think, you know, a few years ago we realized that it's hard for business people to take time out of their day, so we at least try to scatter the events on what time they are. We have morning breakfast meetings, like next week on Tuesday morning at 7:30. We're having the State of the City address, which is a breakfast meeting typically. This year we're doing it at Bowie Golf and Country Club, and we had it there last year, which was my last outgoing event, and now it's my first coming back event, so it'll be interesting. And had a lot of snow that morning, I remember. But we still had a full house, and it was a real good event, and the mayor and a lot of the city staff attend and help bring us all up to date and fill us in on what's going on in our surroundings. And then we have after hours mixers. On Monday next week, we're having actually a free open house business mixer in our office at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So business people are welcome to come to that, certainly. And then and we do some evening mixers, we do some lunch meetings from time to time. And the nice piece that we've added the last 2 years is that we've gotten more involved in a coalition of local small chambers, Crofton, Severna Park, North Anne Arundel, and we do a number of multi-chamber events, which is nice because it gives our members, who may belong to one or more of the chambers, but it gives you a larger group of people to network with and meet and hopefully benefit from those relationships.
Oh, sure. I think that's an excellent move. And those have worked well. And, you know, I might mention to our audience that this program will be beginning on Friday. And so on channels 11 and 77. But it's on YouTube probably tomorrow. It'll be on Tiny Earl URL YouTube. If we talk about anything that comes up before it appears on our local channel. And of course the Bowie Business Journal has been producing, I have been involved in this program for 20-something years. And last year, the Bowie Business Journal did win 3 awards of what we call the Dottie Award from Dottie Tuig as the Outstanding Business Series and so forth. And it was kind of neat because we have, with you back on board, I think we have great opportunities to get back in our groove of having more Business Journal program. But John Ross and I, co-host the Bowie News and Views, which expanded our ability to do possibly getting into some current news. And it's not that we just simply have studio time, and yet not a lot of studio time, so we want to make it as productive as possible. So you speaking here for a lot of businesses in the community is important. And I think the Chamber does that, and I think the members appreciate that. So every opportunity you have to either be on the program here or be quoted in the paper or the president be quoted, I think very helpful to all of the membership. Let me ask you one thing that's a dreaded question that I didn't want to ask, and it has to do with the economy. Do you think, Kayla, we might have been a little better off here than a lot of areas of the state, well, particularly the country, in the sense that the greater Bowie area is maybe a little better off and your retention of members has been good, or something you've had to work at?
Certainly some we've had to work at because there are businesses that are suffering in this current economic climate, and certainly some that have gone out of business. But there are a number who are still on board and very supportive. I've been back at the chamber for 2 weeks now, and we've gotten 4 new members, and I haven't gone out looking for anybody because I've been busy with the business of getting the office organized and getting back on my feet again. But there's certainly a big interest in being involved in a local chamber and having those opportunities to meet with other business people.
I think that's a very important point for us to emphasize, really. And I know it's tough. It's awfully difficult when a business sales are down, a lot of profits down, even if sales are holding on. Hiring someone is a big decision to make today, and it used to be a good field decision. When you hired someone, you felt like you were growing. And I'm hearing similar things. We're not hiring anyone, Bert. As a matter of fact, we're just holding our people together, which the next question I ask them is if they're a member of the Chamber of Commerce. And I do remember over the years that sharing experiences at meetings. And one of the reasons I remember the 5 o'clock meeting was put into place, the hospitality area, a lot of business cards were exchanged between people. And I had the experience, and I've talked to others, that they say, you know, Bert, every time I come to a meeting, I get a new lead, or I get a new prospect. They say, so those things happen, and they're not accidental. If it's a contractor, or if it's a professional individual. We recently lost a long-time member of the chamber, and that was Dr. Ciccone. And I remember when I met Dr. Ciccone at the chamber, I helped participate with their membership drives and their Academy of General Dentistry. And I met a lot of other people in this profession from Baltimore and even in Chicago, talked to people. But the difference was, looking back on it, it is strange. Here's a dentist that he thought the chamber was mighty important to him. He recently passed. And he reminded me one time, the Academy of General Dentistry, Bert, we have a problem of membership retention, gaining new members. And I think it's a matter of them, once they communicate, once a person shows up for some meeting, they have a different attitude about it. And I noticed in helping, too, in membership drive, and talking to people, those that didn't stick never participated. So I know your philosophy there. If they join, participate, and they'll get a benefit from it.
Yeah, I think you have to make a decision if you're going to join. I know that people are concerned about, are there any required things? And there's nothing required of you, but it's like anything. You're only going to get out of it what you put into it. And so I've met with a couple of people, and because I live here and now back with the chamber, of people who own their business and are very busy. And I said, you know, you don't have to come to every single event, but make the most of your money and come to the big events that attract 50, 60, 70 people, like the State of the City breakfast. And that's a way to get the most for what you've spent to join the chamber, and the best way to make those connections.
You're right. And there's another element, too, that I've had business people tell me, that they work long hours, as you suggested there. And it takes, sometimes gives them an opportunity to be refreshed outside of their business. And a lot of people, I used to call it, were isolated to their business. They couldn't get away, and they couldn't feel part of the community somehow, because they many times have their business in Bowie and live outside the community. But the opportunities with the chamber changed. Those that participated realized and recognized more in the business community, but also recognized more prospects that outside of the chamber, because they're sharing ideas and so forth. Looking back, retention of members is vitally important. But under this time,